Okay, let's start this class with a prayer to the Supreme God, to my spiritual teachers, to all the spiritual teachers, holy masters, all the saints, holy angels, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones. We humbly invoke for your divine guidance, divine love, divine blessings, for illumination, for divine oneness, divine bliss, divine health, and divine protection. We thank you in full faith, so be it. Thank you. So, how was the last three classes? Any doubts from the last three classes? I think the basics have been covered. The rest of the 7 classes is going to be majorly stressing on the same basics, going more deeper into the same basics, and then also answering question and answers. And then we'll be covering chanting, importance of chanting, either maybe in this class or maybe in the next class. We'll see whichever class um, we can do that. Then I think somebody was also asking about what is ego, alter ego, and all of that. Let's cover that in today's class. Any doubts so far in the basics as such? Okay, no doubts. I thought first I'll just cover again the same thing, but let me stress more upon the why we need to accept, why we need to surrender, and those kinds of things. That way, the more we remind ourselves about why we have to do that, the more we are motivated to do that. Okay. So, like some of the things that, like when I'm also questioning myself about why do I have to keep sharing all these things? Why do I have to come to a class and keep sharing all these things with everybody? If we know everything, then why do I have to share? Am I here to coach and somebody? So I mean, these answers come, and I'll probably be more convinced. But again and again, this question keeps coming up, maybe for a better answer or for a more clear answer or whatever it is. So I keep questioning some of these things. So maybe what I share will also be able to help you, because it helps us understand why we are doing many of these things that we are sort of doing. First thing is, God is at that supreme state. And then when he has come down to those lower frequencies to experience physicality, let's say at the 5th dimensional space, there is physicality, but there is a sense of oneness. Okay, there is a sense of oneness. Awareness is there. Okay, we are all different. We are all experiencing different realities, but we are all coming from the same source. It's the same source who is expressing all these things differently. That understanding is there at a 5th dimensional level, where you are mostly having a light body. Okay, you don't have a solid body like this. It is majorly made up of light. It is more glowing. It is so those kinds of things. We spoke about that in divine design also. But as we kept coming to even more lower frequencies, let's say the God himself manifests himself into lower frequencies, the portion that was used, it's like when God manifests himself in different frequencies, it's not like he's here and then he left this place and he came here, he left this place and he came. It's not like that. It's actually this here God is still there. Let's say a part of him also manifests here. A part of him also manifests, which means he's still here, here, and here. And then he also is here. Then he's also here. Then he's also here. Then he's also here. So this is more like a chain of command. Okay, that is, he's still here. He's also 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 here. But as that version comes down, this has lesser awareness compared to this. This has lesser awareness compared to this. So the one with lesser awareness is, as it becomes lesser and lesser and lesser, it becomes more like a person who's just passing on information. Like if you take even in the office setup, or even if you take in a construction setup, the laborers who are working, they are not taking any decisions. They are only whatever the maestri is giving in terms of work or whatever, they just take that work. They execute that work. But they, as such, really don't know why they are doing something. Okay, they're just doing some sort of work. One will be allocated, let's say, the brick work, some will be allocated the cement work, some will be allocated some other work. But they are just doing it. They don't know tomorrow what I'll be doing. They don't know. They don't know what kind of room this will look like where I'm actually building this part. That also they don't know. But they're just following orders. So as we come down to lower frequencies, we are more like workers. We actually don't have the sense of taking decisions to alter our life experiences. We don't have. But we only have a sense of understanding to just carry on the orders properly. But as you become a maestri, you might say, oh, here it is leaking. So I need to change my decisions. I need to maybe consult with the architect and then do something. So there is some amount of decision making. There is some amount of intellectual involvement and all that. But there is intellect even at the worker level. But there he is thinking more at okay, when this work has to be done, I should not do it. I should not do a shoddy job. It has to be very smooth. So whatever it is, he's thinking at his level, he's thinking. So similarly, whatever intellect, as we come down to lower frequencies that we have, it is more to do with how to be a good worker more than how to be a good master. The same God is here only at the worker level, but the version that is actually taking on the information and passing it on to this version and then this version and this version and this version and this version, it's actually going on. So the connection between the God and till the last point has to be seamless. It cannot be break here and there. Okay, if we have, why do we have ego? Every single thing below God has ego. It is more about this level of ego has an awareness that I'm still a part of God. It's just God has manifested himself, that kind of ego. I have an identity of this awareness. Then the one which is lower will have that level of understanding. That is who am I will be different here. Who am I will be different here. But after a point that who am I sort of gets distorted because that version loses an understanding of who am I even connected to. Who is even giving me all that they don't know. They just know about themselves. They just know that I exist. That's it. So who exists? Whatever I can see exists. I can see my body. That is what exists. Something that I can't see does not exist. But just because, just give me a minute. Sorry, nobody is at home. I have to see the door. So basically what I'm saying is just because just because it can't understand just because it can't see, it can't feel, it can't hear, it doesn't mean that the chain of a command does not exist. So the people, let's say people who have come, people who are at this level have told, hey, the chain of command exists. So which has come out in books and Shastras and Vedas and all of those things, Upanishads and all of that. The same thing they're telling that you may not be aware, but there is all of this that exists. You have to just believe. For you to be able to experience it, you first have to believe that such a chain of command actually exists. And you are also a part of that chain of command. So, but since I'm not yet, let's say, in a mentality to completely experience it, some of us, let's say, believe it. Some of us don't even have the experience of that belief system also, that we are not this body. Just because I can see only my body doesn't mean that I'm the body. I'm actually a version of God. When I go to this level of awareness, then I am God. When I'm in this level of awareness, then I don't feel that I may understand that I'm a part of God, but I still don't have the experience of that complete God. right? That 100% I'm God, that divine feeling is still not there. There is only some amount of less awareness compared to that God. So this is all of these, because this has to understand its own characteristics, its own nature of living, or whatever it is, its presence, different compared to this. If God's level of awareness is there for everything, then what is the difference between, what is the there is no unique, there is what do you say, there should be a difference for God to actually feel himself. The very reason that this Prakriti actually got created, it he wanted to feel himself in a different way. He wanted to experience himself in a different way. So he will obviously go full blown to see what all I can possibly do in my own creation, what all I can possibly experience in my own creation. And some of, let's say, you can see musicians, you can see all of these people and say, wow, they are so creative, they create music, and all of that. But then you can imagine that supreme creator, how creative he is, and the kind of ideas that he might have to experience all of these things will be like literally unimaginable, right? So that is what, so every possible thing that you can actually think of has already been created, is already being experienced by a version of him only, by a reflection of, he's experiencing it, and he is seeing that reflection. He is only the person who is witnessing himself in the reflection, where he is only bringing rather he has only created that reflective thing, and then he is only taking part in that reflection also, right? You can understand it is so complex. So he is everywhere experiencing different things, as a person who is witnessing, also as a person who is doing the drama. Okay, that is God we are talking about. And here there is also a version of God who is not connected, who is not feeling that connection to the entire chain of command. Chain of command means till that God's level of awareness. Who wants to experience? God wanted to experience. And he obviously wants to experience, let's say if I'm eating something from this body, at some point God will actually experience that eating at the highest level of awareness. And somewhere in between, they will experience, that version will experience, or that body, that subtle body will experience it at that level of awareness. So when we look at Bhagavad Gita, and then Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi, we look at that stotra, we are actually saying that Brahma is, that Param Brahma is actually everything. He is the one who's eating, he is the one who's actually he's the plate, he is the food, he is the one who's eating, he is the one who's swallowing, he is the one who's actually digesting, he is the one who's also rather experiencing it, and at different levels. So this different levels is actually ego. Ego means, who am I? That kind of identity, that kind of the sense of understanding of who am I. So every version, every single layer of who am I has a different understanding of who am I. They may have maybe different understanding. So, but what happens is, when the connection is sort of weak, when the connection at some level is weak, then it becomes slightly distorted. It is actually only thinking of, I am this body. Whatever I can see through my eyes is only what I can believe. And whatever my body has relationships, me and mine, I am this, and who am, and mine, my body's relationships, my with people, my body's relationships with objects, my body's relationships with anything. So me and mine is what this body understands at this level of awareness, which means God himself at this level of awareness is so not aware of that fact. In the sense, it's not like God himself is not aware. It is more about, in that level, that is the experience he is getting. It is actually, see, if something is happening in reality, it means that it is God's wish that happens, which is why it is happening. right? Because the entire cosmos is him only. So how can we escape? How can we do something escaping his own mind? Because we are everything that we in this version that we are playing, we are all that reflection. We, when I say we, it means we are in the body consciousness. That's why I'm saying I am a different person. So that is why we are all that reflection, and we are only a reflection. So the source is somebody else, right? How can we escape the source? So we can't do anything that the source does not want. So let's say for some reason, everything that is happening for a particular reason, including the sense of ignorance that we have about who we are and all of that. It is actually a very good thing, because unless we don't understand who we are, and then you are given the awareness of who you are, it actually is like finding a treasure, right? So that is the beauty of that experience. When you don't have it, when you feel that you don't have something, and then you actually feel that you have something, it was always there, but it was just masked, or it was separated by a thin veil of ignorance, right? Once that ignorance is removed, how beautiful we will feel, right? Oh yeah, oh my god, I always had it. It's like we lost something, and then we actually found it in the place that you never looked for, or you had always been looking there, but then somehow you didn't see it. You'll feel excited about it. So that is the joy, that is a feeling that God wants. He wants to feel excited, he wants to feel happy and joyful and all of those things in every single experience. And the greatest joy is when you actually don't feel like having it and then you get it. Then you will know the value of it. So this awareness is also like that only. Hence, this drama is actually happening. So in ego, when we have a distorted ego or an alter ego, or a lower form of ego or a confused form of ego, whatever ego you want to call that, which is sort of not real ego. Here it is only body related, what my body wants, how my body will be happy, uh, including if somebody is not well, then if they are well, then I will become happy. Today they are, let's say, good, they are very healthy, then I am happy. If they are not healthy, I am not happy. If somebody is not talking to me, then I am happy. Sorry, talking to me, I'm happy. Not talking to me, not happy. So everything is actually me and mine, connected to my happiness, connected to my unhappiness. So it is all revolving around only that. So that actually is that ego, which is, it has forgotten who I am. That same ego had that sense of understanding of I am actually that amsh of God. It had that understanding. But the same ego, when it dropped down to lower frequencies, lost that connection. So, who is constantly giving that awareness? It is God Himself. It is the energy of God. So, if less is flowing through us, through that body that was created, then less awareness. Then less awareness, more awareness is all coming through the same source. So, what is actually something that is, what does God want in this whole thing? To go from a point where, in His own creation, where the lowest possible point that a human being can actually go. I'll forget about animals and all that. A lowest point in which a human being can go, exist without even understanding who I am, and work in that alter ego. See, alter ego has a primary role to actually safeguard the body. So it safeguards the body from some basic instincts like fire, basic instincts like running away, let's say, from fire, or let's say some heat, or it protects the body from many things. It protects the body to, and it has an agenda to keep the body alive, majorly that only. So, and over a period of time, that alter ego has evolved to not just save this body from tigers, it has also evolved itself to save itself from people who scold it. And in the office, if there is an appraisal time, all of that butterflies in the stomach, all those kinds are all egos, progressive nature. over a period of time, like many lives later, that sense of I has sort of improved itself into to understand who am I in a different way. What should I run away from? What should I fight with? What should I, let's say, become frozen with? If somebody is like literally bad mouthing me or something like that, or let's say name shamming me, then I'm going to be in shock, let's say, then that is the kind of shock it will go to. So lots of such natures it has actually got. So that is ego and alter ego. Any doubts? When it comes to real ego, it is just a sense of uniqueness. It gives you a sense of uniqueness to say, who am I? And that ego is there under God at all levels. But it is not distorted. It really understands who I am. I am a part of God, and this is what is the thing. So that it has an understanding of where I belong with, who I belong with, and why am I, what is my existence, the purpose of my existence, all of that it knows. But when it doesn't understand that, then it sort of behaves in a different way. And now the whole journey is about uh, trying to train that ego, which really did not have anything. It had gone down to the lowest level, let's say. And from that lowest level, evolution is happening. When we went to that lowest point, it was called involution. Now, when we are going back to God, it is called evolution. E. It starts with E, evolution. So here, when absolutely nothing in terms of awareness, from there to slowly getting the energy, and then knowledge, experiential knowledge and everything is all coming. And then ego is being trained to slowly go back to that state of surrender. Why surrender? Because if it is not surrendered, then it will not pass on the information as it is, right? Why will it so if somebody is holding back that experience and not seeing the experience as it is, but giving a distorted meaning to that experience, then there is no surrender. So if you're looking at an experience and just seeing it the way it is, without attaching any judgments, without attaching anything, any analysis, nothing, then you are just seeing things as they are. The mind is also blank. The mind is also at rest. Then the chain of command will actually get the experience the way it is supposed to be. But because now, as a part of the chain of command, one of them is not the only one which actually has to get the physical experience, which is on the final part of this whole chain of command, is not working to the best. Maybe it is meant to be like that. It is a way, that is only the experience that God wants. So now it is all going through the training process. After undergoing a lot of distorted belief systems, let's say a cooked up belief systems is now there as a part of the ego. Now, all of that ego's notions have to sort of be erased, and then it has to just follow what it is meant to be. That is a training that is going on. And that will automatically happen as you keep going to higher frequencies. See, frequency is more like let's say, imagine it's like a station, or it's like a place where automatically whatever is supposed to come to you will come to you. It's like, let's say you're getting promoted. As a part of that promotion, you let's say you have to get a general manager will have to get this office. He'll have to get this secretary. He'll have to get this printer. He has to get this chair. He has to get all of this table. He has to get all of these employees who to work for him. It's a part of the package. So similarly, as a part of as you go into that frequency, or you start vibrating at that frequency, automatically everything will start coming to you. Like more clarity will come, whatever clarity is already there. It is just that it's like a sticker is now peeled. A veil, which was ignorant veil, the veil of ignorance is now peeled. Only a part of the veil of ignorance. Maybe there is so much more to like keep peeling. So that will automatically come. What is our job? Our job is to understand what is my ignorance, be aware of that ignorance, and not be in resistance when that ignorance is sort of getting removed. Because there is a plan. There is a plan through the chain of command, which is sort of coming and getting executed via this physical body. See, physical body is more like an instrument only. It is just going to be thrown and then discarded, and the subtle body, the one behind it, will just go from one body to another body. So as of now, this physical body that we think we are is not even going to go beyond this 100 years. So just imagine how would you say what is the level that we have in that chain of command? Use and throw, disposable. We are disposables. Okay, the awareness that we have are like disposables. So we just have to understand that we are not this disposable. Whatever is disposable is not who we are. Right? So we are just trying to go from at least the understanding that we are disposables to we are non-disposable. It's a great progress to think like that. Hey, I am actually a reusable item. I'm not a disposable item. So something like that, right? We all are very fond of reusables these days and not using disposables and all of that. So imagine what kind of importance we give to reusable items, right? So something like that, we are like a disposable as of now. So we have to raise our awareness to become a reusable item. And how we are already that, but we don't know. We think we are also disposables. So we just have, how do we raise our awareness? Only by becoming lighter. If you have to run faster, you have to obviously be slightly lighter. Not in terms of weight, but in terms of muscles have to be more agile and all of those things. Or if a balloon has to go higher, then it has to have gases like helium, which can actually go like that. Otherwise, you fill air into the balloon, it will sort of stay here, it will come down to gravity, due to gravity. But if you fill helium and such things in the balloon, it will carry it up. So how is it that we can get converted from regular oxygen to helium? When we let go of the things that are heavy. What are those things that are heavy? Any emotions that we are carrying, which are, or no more than emotions, it's the beliefs that we are carrying, which make us feel heavier. It's the belief. We are actually not, but that belief makes us feel heavier. What is belief? So it's more about what is it called? Just a minute. I typed it somewhere. So it's like whatever we believe is actually happening. Do you know the difference between believing and knowing? Believing means somebody can tell you, hey, you can actually walk. And then you believe that person and then you try to start walking. That is belief. It is more of you sort of understand what he's saying and you agree with what he's saying. There is no conflict between both of you, but you are still yet to get that experience. Okay, that is belief. But most of the belief systems that are actually getting executed in our body, right? They are more about, they are called knowing. It's we know that is what it is. Knowing means it's an experiential thing. Knowing and awareness are the same. They are more like two different words meaning the same thing. It's like I don't have to think before walking because I know I can walk. But let's say tomorrow I meet with an accident, or let's say I go through an operation or something, then I'll have to actually learn, because now there is one more belief system, or there is one more conflict to that knowing that has sort of suddenly come to say, oh, I am operated. Will I be able to walk again? Do I have that confidence to walk again? What if I fall? All of these doubts have come now. But in the past, you know that you can actually walk. But now you again have to train your mind to get to that point that I can walk. So that knowing is more about that it's more experiential in nature, knowing. So we have to go from believing that I am God to knowing that I am God. And believing that I have to surrender, or believing that, oh yes, surrender works, or believing that acceptance works, to actually knowing that acceptance, or um, um, rather accepting with full awareness or knowing. So everything that is actually happening in your life is because you have sort of um, nobody is making you believe or anything. It is sort of like a knowing. I know I have to. I know I'm having this state of lack. I know I know that these experiences are happening to me, because you are like so fully aware that it should happen, kind of thing. So unless you are fully in that level of knowing that I need this kind of thing, it wouldn't have even come into your existence. For example, let's say you are in an abusive relationship or something. It's like you are like, you know that this has to happen to me, which is why it is happening to you. It's like you are fully, you have signed off that agreement that I need it, kind of thing, right? Without your full permission, and belief that this has to happen to me, it wouldn't have happened to you. That is the kind of system we have. That But we don't know that these kind of belief systems are there within us, no? So that is the whole point, because we are not aware of ourselves yet. So it is important that in this journey, that we are aware of at least a process. We don't know whether acceptance works. We don't know if surrender works. But we just have to believe somebody who tells it works, or we have to read a book. And if it's so convincing enough, it is like more about believing. So you have to first believe it to go to a stage of knowing it. And that is an experiential thing. So unless you believe this path, unless you believe that this path is promising, I definitely have to try. Unless you are sort of in that kind of state, you will not get to that state of knowing that acceptance is working for me, or surrender is working for me. That kind of, you will never know. And unless anything becomes that 100% knowing, it will actually not work in our life. Even to go from one point of one frequency, lower frequency, to another higher frequency, right? I told you that each of those emotions, or that acceptance has to become 100%. You are actually knowing, or that awareness is fully coming, that acceptance is fully happening. So it is actually becoming experiential in installments, which is why you feel that it is working. So we have to get to that state in everything. So that is what makes you lighter. That is what makes you go from a lower frequency to a higher frequency. The sense of 100% God will happen when you are in 100% knowing that I am God. And unless that happens, we will not go to that state, no? So this God is like that one point. As of now, everything below God has a sense of separation. Even though you understand the reason for separation, all of that is there, but since there is still a sense of separation, right? So when you look at all your POSEs, there are different kind of POSEs. Some in your family are not going to listen to you. They are not going to listen to your gyan. Or take for example my family, right? They are all not in my class. They are not my clients. They are not in a mode where they are going to be very receptive of whatever I'm going to say. Maybe sometimes, but not all the time. So what happens? They are more acting like teachers to me and saying, okay, Smita, we both have, you feel a sense of separation at this point because you have a belief system here, you have a belief system here, you have a belief system here. So they are more about showing me. It is like, imagine that Okay, imagine that I'm inside this cover. I feel separated. I feel separated from this mouse. Okay, there is this, let's say, uh, lip guard. Let's say I am the lip guard. I feel separated from this mouse. Now, what is this mouse going to tell me? The mouse is going to tell me, hey, you know what? There is a cover between us. It's going to tell me that there's a cover between us. There is a cover between us. Maybe if I had 10 different covers and then I put a lip guard, let's say it will come out of one cover, but it will still be under one more cover. It has to cross all the 10 covers to come and then meet face to face and then actually feel that oneness. So this is what our family is trying to show us. Our family is trying to show us what is that sense of separation that you have within you that is actually separating both of us today. Now, when it comes to, let's say, clients or this class or something like that, you are all more receptive in whatever I'm telling. So what is my so you are saying so what I am learning from this is more about saying, okay, all of these people are me only. It's like they are different versions of me. You are showing some other version of me. She's showing some other version of me. She's showing some other version of me. I may not be able to understand what version of that it is, but let's say all of them are my own POSEs showing me different versions. And these versions are very receptive of what I know or what I'm learning or whatever. So if we both get onto the same page, if we both share knowledge and come to the same understanding or same kind of thinking, so what are we actually doing? We are coming back to that point of oneness. As of now, we have different understandings, different, let's say, things. So here also, it is a way of coming back to oneness. The more you share knowledge with somebody without any expectations that they have to understand, it's more about, oh, I have to understand my own knowledge, then they will hear whatever and they will take whatever they want. Because how will I know what you want? I will not know what you want. What you want, you only will know what you want. The God who is operating within you only will know what you want. So when we keep sharing knowledge and take and give and whatever so there's an exchange of information going on in our own respective ways. So then we are just coming back to that common point. It's like two students in class, if they exchange notes, if they do combined studies, ultimately both of them are coming to a same understanding of that subject. But how they write their exam, that is a different point. But they are actually coming to that common understanding of that subject. They have exchanged notes. They are discussing in the common studies. And whatever doubts he has, he will clarify. Whatever doubts she has, he will clarify. Something like that they have done. And then they've pretty much come to the same understanding. But the journey that they have to lead are different, which means their exam, what they write in the exam, how they write in the exam and all will be different. At least they're coming to the common point of understanding the truth. At home, we are learning differently. At home, we have a different point of coming to oneness. Here, we have a different way of coming to oneness. When it comes to food, food also showed me how to come to oneness. Like, for example, when I was a vegetarian, I had a lot of fears because I used to be very plump and obese and all at that time. So I used to always have some fear of eating some food or the other. I used to eat general food, common food, but then bakery foods and all I used to avoid because, oh, that has too much of grease. So I'll put on fat. So all of these things, fears, then also I had. But then over a period of time, those fears manifested, let's say, into my own diseases, my diseases, in the form of diseases. And then I went deeper and deeper and deeper into the subject of nature cure. And then I became even more restrictive with my food. And then that restriction actually, it's like I went to the deepest point of fears. And then knowledge came, awareness came, experiences came, everything came. And then it brought me rather it helped me accept my fears more than basically continue. You can't continue to stay in the same place. We are actually constantly evolving, so you can't continue to stay in the same place. So how do we know that we can't continue to stay in the same place? Because the body will throw, it will eliminate even when you're eating the same food. So all of these things will happen. Then you constantly learn how to accept and come out. Then what actually happens is the same journey brings you out of all the fears, and all those foods that you couldn't eat before, you can eat now. Because what did you let go of? You let go of your fears. More than fears, it is the belief system which actually made me think that fear is bad. We were avoiding that fear due to a belief system. So once you drop the belief system, the fear is probably still inside, but it is not actually bothering. So everything is pointing us to oneness with all our experiences. We may take time to get to that point of oneness, but remember that it is important that you carry on this journey. I think I gave one more example, right? In the group, I gave this example. For me, recently, since I've been in Gram Jap and all of that, Sundarkand example sort of resonates a lot with me. So in Sundarkand, what happens? Hanuman is sent on a task or an assignment that Sri Ram gives him. He takes this assignment and he goes to Sita. And then all that he has to do is he has to find out the whereabouts of Sita and get a message back from Sita. That's it. That was his information. And then in case he can give a message, go as a, let's say a doot to Ravan, and then tell him, hey, back off, give his wife back to him, that kind of, this is the assignment. So this is called Sundarkand. So on the way to Sundarkand, initially, if you see, Hanuman did not have any knowledge about his powers. He did not know himself. So it is like us who actually don't know who we are. And then Jambavant gives him an awareness of who he is, and he reminds him about his power and all of those things. So that is a state where we are getting knowledge from all of these classes, and they are telling, hey, you can actually do this. You are a soul, you are this, you are that. So when we get to know about this. So then later on, he remembers himself, and then he jumps and all of that. So initially he gets one Mainak Parvat on the way. Mainak Parvat, okay, there's a story, but then remember this, there is a hill that comes, or a mountain that comes on his way to tell him, hey, why don't you take shelter here? It's a golden temple. Golden mountain. It will come to say, hey, why don't you take shelter here? It's very nice. You're going on a very huge journey. So take rest a little bit and then go. So this is more like we getting distractions on our way. Gold. What are these distractions? Something to keep us happy, something more that is going to pull us back to our usual habits of going behind riches, or going behind riches with a different intention. For not with going behind riches is not going behind anything is not bad, but going behind riches for the wrong intentions, which is not going to take you to Sita. That is what I meant here. So if you are having any distraction that is actually not going to take you to your Sita, then obviously your distraction is not helping you. So here, those are the distractions that we need to think of. For example, let's say you're sitting and doing your chanting. You will get 10 different reasons why you should get up from that place and go attend to the task. So those are those Mainak Parvat, which is actually trying to distract you. There was no intention for that task to come and distract you. Okay, it genuinely tried to help you because you want happiness. It was the ego's effort to give you happiness. Hey, she's poor thing. She's sitting and doing some boring job of sitting and chanting. Why shouldn't I actually make her life more exciting by giving her some distraction like this? She likes that, right? She likes to go and then do that job. So why shouldn't I actually help her? So those distractions come like that. But then our intellect should say, hey, now the path is God's path. I have to go do this work. What is do this work? I'll tell. Then next there will come another lady called Sursa. Okay, this Sursa, she's Nagamata. She's a lower form of goddess. Okay, a demigod kind of thing. She comes and then she is teaching us more about uh, rather superiority complex and all that. So like, but let's say now you're thinking about God and all of that. Are you going to even see God in people like us? So it's more about that kind of thing. So you are going on the spiritual path. Okay, let's say you have all of this. Oh, I am a Shiva. I'm a Shiva Bhakta. I am a Vishnu Bhakta. I am this Bhakta, that Bhakta. You're doing all of those sadhanas and all of that. Now, are you going to look at, let's say, a person, generally human being, some other human being who's probably just living his daily life, not doing any spirituality? Are you going to look down upon them? Or are you going to also see them, see that same Shiva in them or see the same Vishnu in them? So that kind of awareness. So when that kind of if some distraction is coming to take you away from your main goal, but with some other thing, then are you going to see are you, like for example, let's say you have some house, you have to chant or you have to do some meditation or something, but now suddenly you have a puja at home because your mother-in-law wants it. So, but you don't want to do that puja because you have to sit and meditate now that you think that meditation is very great, and all of this puja rituals and all is not so great. So just because she wants to do, she's doing all these things. So are you also going to judge some of these things? So this kind of mentality where we are more seeing separation, where we are seeing more duality, all of these things come. Next, there will come one more one more demon who is more stealing, rather who cheats anybody who goes on top of the ocean. Their shadow falls on the ocean, so she eats their shadow. She catches their shadow, and when she catches their shadow, it is like as good as catching that thing that is flying on top of the ocean, and then she eats them. So what does this mean? It is about you looking at somebody else who is better than you, right? And then you eat their shadow, you catch their shadow. It is like your ego at play, becoming more jealous of something that is better than you, something that you don't have. Because she did not have, only she tried to catch that. So catching shadow is all about you catching them in their mind, but not exactly in the physical. Let's say somebody has a house, but then you are feeling jealous about that house. You caught that house that they had, but you did not go physically take that house. No, you are mentally taking their house because now you're jealous about that. So all of these kinds of negative mentality that we have, when you look at others, and you have some different opinions, judgments, analysis, and all of those things, those again he will conquer, rather he will win that also. He will kill such things. In the first one, that Mainak Parvat, what he will do, he will just touch it and go off. He will touch it and go. He say, okay, ego, you want me to have this distraction, huh? Okay, fine. I will make a note of it. It's more about saying, okay, during the job, okay, this is a very important to do that I might forget if I'm sitting and chanting. So let me take a notebook and then you will sit and note down that's all. So that you can get back to it later. So that way you are also convincing your ego, hey, I did not listen to you. It's not like I'm not listening to you also, but I'm also making notes, because there is also a part of you which says, oh, this is a very important task. I should not forget it. But at the same time, I want to do jap also. I want to do my chanting also. So it is more about touch and go. You're listening to it, but you're also not actually doing it. You're not getting too distracted. And then when Sursa came, you are more about, okay, fine, this extra work has come. Huh? Okay, let me see if I can meditate on that work. Okay, puja came. Fine, I'll meditate on that. So what she will do, she will try to say, I want to eat you, because gods have sent me that anybody who's passing here, they have to go, I have to swallow them. And more than, they have to go into my mouth. So that was some boon that she will have. So what he will do is he'll somehow trick her, and then he will just get into her mouth and he'll go off out. So she will be more pleased with his witty nature. So it is more about that. You are also attending to other tasks that come in the process of your journey, but you are also using that to do your own task. So how smart you are to keep continuing your journey is what they are trying to show. Then in the third one, obviously you can't be smart and then continue with being jealous, continue with being irritated, continue with being frustrated, continue with being something about somebody, some other POSC, right? It is more about killing. It is more about cutting those belief systems. It is more about burning those cages, dropping those cages, letting go of those cages. So that is why he kills that demon and then he goes forward. So who is this Sita? Sita is more about that emotion that is trapped in by ego. Ravan is more like ego. What he has done, he has caught Sita and he has imprisoned her into his own palace or in his own, let's say, cage, in his own Lanka, which is a cage, which people don't know where it existed. Unless somebody told here, it is here, it seems, it is there, it seems. On the way only they figured out where it was, no, because they had to see where did Sita go. They don't know, nobody knows where Sita went. There is no GPS or anything. On the way they said, yeah, I saw somebody shouting and going. I saw somebody doing this. I saw somebody doing that. So it was more about hearsay, and then they sent Hanuman. So here also, we don't know what belief system has actually captured and why are we getting fear. So we just know that there is one emotion that is trying to come out. So some people also heard that Sita shouted for help. All of that we know. So it is more about there is that Sita that has been trapped by your belief system, that ego has built a belief system and it has caught whatever it likes. It has caught whatever it likes because it thinks it is good. It is, if Sita is trapped inside me in this cage, then she's going to be mine. It is more like that. So our ego, which is the Ravan inside us, has actually built all these belief systems and cages and all of that and trapped many Sitas inside, many Shaktis or many are Adi Shaktis inside us. That um, she's called Maya. Okay, he has trapped, thinking that I'm trapping. Can we trap? Can we trap such a goddess inside us and then feel happy? Be happy? Are we all happy with our belief systems? Aren't we suffering our belief systems? We are actually suffering, right? He's also suffering. He's trapped her, but he can't enjoy her also because she's not a person. She's at Maya. She's God's thing. So everything all those emotions that we have trapped inside us, whether it comes out as fear, whether it comes out as jealousy, whether it comes out as anything, because of that entrapment, it feels like Sita is maligned. We feel that Sita is actually not pure. We feel all of those kinds of things. But actually, she is pure. Actually, it is because Ravan has trapped her. We feel like that. But why shouldn't we be that Ravan? Why should we be that Ravan who will go to his own destruction? Why shouldn't we be that Ravan to release Sita? So this whole unconditional acceptance is about believing that there is a Sita that is trapped inside. Every single time a POSC comes in front of you and then tries to shake you and trigger you, he is trying to show you where Sita has been trapped inside your Lanka. So all that we have to do is have a different purpose in our head. Let me be that Hanuman who can free that Sita. Let Sita go back to her Ram. Why should I trap her? So when you think more in that perspective, now you are more focused on actually doing service to Mother, service to that Adi Shakti. So here we are, see that this Maya, that same Maya tested Hanuman before she gave darshan. Before Sita Ma gave darshan to Hanuman, she tested him in many ways. Maya sent him what? Mainak Parvat, then Sursa came, then another demon came, then Lankini came. So many things happened. Then he saw all the different kind of attractions that were there in Lanka before he came to Sita Mata. He saw so much that he actually started doubting himself. Oh my God, I'm seeing all of these people naked and all of that in their own mauj masti. What is going through my mind? He started seeing, why am I even attracting all these things? Why am I seeing all these things? So these are things that will come in our own spiritual life. Am I even spiritual? Why am I attracting all these things? Why did I attract this kind of porn movie in my life? Or maybe this kind of image in my life? So many things we question about ourselves, right? So this is what even Hanuman had. And then later on, he again realigned himself through knowledge and through his thinking of Ram. He realigned himself, and then he was able to meet another satsangi like Vibhishan. And then he went and saw Sita Mata. So before you actually go and meet that Yog Maya, they call Yog Maya is the Maya's divine version. Unless you are ready to go and see the goddess in your own creations, right? The goddess who has created, unless you are ready to see that goddess in your own creations, you are not going to meet that goddess. What are we trying to do? We are trying to play with that lady. We are trying to play with we have entrapped that emotion like a Ravan for our personal use, for the ego's personal use. We have imprisoned her. We are using her for our advantage. We are using our mother for our advantage because we are Ravan. That Ravan inside us, the ego which has become Ravan. See, Ravan is actually he was a Dwarpalak of Vishnu. Vishnu, if you look at Vishnu, let's say he's the supreme most. They are all in God consciousness. So if you think like that, such a close associate of Vishnu, when you go down to lower frequencies, can also become a Ravan. So you can be the best, but then if you come down to lower frequencies, that ego will play its tricks, right? And this is what Ravan is. Ravan is the ego inside us, which is actually trapping all of parts of this emotion, which is supposed to be God's property, something like the God's creation, which is supposed to be in oneness with God, instead of experiencing that with divinity. We came here to experience God's creation with that divinity, but then we trapped whatever we like. We are hoarding whatever we like. So in this unconditional acceptance journey, what we are trying to do is every time when POSC triggers something, it is he or she is showing us where we have trapped Sita inside ourselves. So forget about what that guy told you, what he's trying to tell you, how he's trying to tell you, whether he's a monkey who's trying to tell you, whether he is a bird who's trying to tell you, whether he's any form that is trying to tell you where Sita is. Just bring back the focus and focus on Sita. Sita is now trying to come out and say, hey, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. So just focus on her and then have that reverential attitude towards that emotion that has been now captured inside you. Just to focus on that. Just think about that fear, or just close your eyes and think, just focus on that fear or focus on that emotion that is just trying to come out. And connect with it as if you're connecting with a goddess. Have that reverential attitude, have that gratitude, have that love, have that thank you, have that whatever good things that you have within you. And then you can do Ho'oponopono, whatever you want, you can do, but just keep focusing on that. Then what happens? No, it is more about The Ram inside you is now focusing on the Sita inside you. And the more the focus goes, because awareness is nothing but God. Okay. So you're just, as you bring that awareness with the right intentions, then it is like that purity. Awareness with the right intentions is purity, right? It's actually divine. So then you are looking at Sita. Then you become that Ram, and then you're looking at Sita, you're looking at Sita, you're looking at Sita, you're looking at Sita. Then that Sita's Lanka actually burns. The prison that she was trapped in gets destroyed. And now she's free. So that Sita is free, that you had trapped. And we have trapped many, many Sitas. And we need different kind of poses to come in and show all of that trapping. Right? So hence, if you think about this analogy, that for me, it resonates very nicely with, you can think about it, whether it resonates with you. So, because it gives me a different purpose. It gives me, like, it's as if I'm on a mission to constantly go and free Sita. It's a nice mission. Rather than actually thinking about myself and my needs and, oh, I want my husband to be okay, I want my daughter to be okay. That is not very impressive many times. There is no motivation in that journey, right? Because it comes today, tomorrow it goes off. Some other happiness comes today, tomorrow it goes off. But actually, it's nice to be on a mission where you're constantly freeing Sita from Lanka, right? It's like you're a part of Ram's army, and then he's now sent you. You are that Hanuman who has actually been sent on this mission to go and then, hey, release the Sita. This go on this journey, and then you'll get lots of instructions. You'll probably get some people who are going to show you the direction. Then once the directions are given, you just go there, focus on that Sita. That's enough. Just focus on that Sita. Then it's as good as Ram focusing on that Sita, and then she'll actually be free. So this freedom is more about, you are constantly freeing many versions of that Adi Shakti, which you have trapped in the Mooladhara. Mooladhara may be some part of her in Mooladhara, some part of her in Swadhisthana, some part of her in Manipura, some part of her in Anahata, some part of her in throat chakra, some part of her in third eye. So let her go meet Ram. We don't know. Every time you release her, let's say let's say all the Mooladharas you released. Then maybe a part of the Swadhishthanas will come up. Oh, here Sita is trapped, there Sita is trapped, there Sita is trapped. So let your journey become more about releasing all of these emotions that are now trapped because of the ego that was within you, which is Ravan. And Ravan also will become free. Ravan also will attain moksha by the end of this journey. If you keep releasing Sita, then you will actually get that Ram's blessings. Because even in Bhagavad Gita, it says, right? If you come to me, then I will free you from your own things. I will come to you. I will take care of you. Yogakshemam vahamyam. So some same thing with Ram also. And then when Vibhishan came to him, even though he was a demon, he was of the Rakshasa clan, he came, even though their natures are supposed to be majorly tamasic and all of that, he embraced him like a friend. Right? So that is what we have to think, that we may be anybody. We may have the worst Sita, we may have trapped we may have been the worst people, having all kinds of jealousies and selfish behavior and everything. But there is definitely a place in God's heart, provided you do his job. Go back to him, do his job. You be that perfect servant who is going to be that Ravan, who's going to not just be Ravan, but who's going to be a different Ravan, who's going to just give off all of his possessions. Let him release the Sita. Many people told him, release. He didn't release. So like that, even to us, many people will come and tell. How many poses will come and tell, release. Are we releasing? We are fighting back. And then we are saying, no, why should I release? You are out of your mind. You are talking like a coward. I will not release. All of those things, even we are saying. So imagine, even we are that Ravan. We have that Ravan mentality when we are blaming the POSC for ruining our life or making anything like this. We are going against the ego. So your POSC is a hitachintak, or he's a well-wisher. So don't see him as an enemy. Don't see your POSC as an enemy. If your body has diseases, the body is also a POSC. If the food is actually, many people come and say, oh, I eat this and then I have this problem. I ate that and I have this problem. So that is also a POSC. But where Sita is trapped, you have to figure out. In your journey, only when you're open enough to understand, oh, they are showing me Sita. Okay, let me go and find the clues. Then only you will go, because you're open-minded. But then if you constantly keep saying, I fear this person, appa, he has some wrong intentions, then you will never find Sita. Start being open, or have an open intention. It'll come. See, it's not like we can change. We are hardwired for this journey. Because every time we go to another frequency, there will be something that we don't know. There will be something that we can't understand. So there will be something in every part of your life where some POSCs will actually only tell you something where the first thing that you will do is react. In my life also, there are so many strong POSCs where the first thing I'm still doing is reacting only. Okay, I'm not still a saint or anything. There is still a lot of reaction when it comes to some close members, and can't help it. I can only wait for this transformation. And with sadhana, with chanting, with aware, but definitely there's an understanding that I am the one who has to work on this. That much has come, and I'm only grateful for that awareness. Even though reaction is coming, I'm actually, although it feels bad that reaction is coming, but that is an expectation that I should not react. But I should be eventually learning to accept that reactions are coming, because when I'm become responsive about this, no, then it'll feel good. Maybe I'm not still there to actually get to that high when that response happens. I need to go further low with that badly wanting to be responding to this versus reacting to this. Unless I'm really not that low, I haven't gone down that low, I will really not appreciate that response when it comes out of me. So that is where God is also taking me. So that is where we'll have to just be in acceptance that, oh, my reaction is also meant to be in the right place. But that doesn't mean absolve us of the fact that we should not try. Let's keep trying, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Next time, if it happens, it might happen. So don't criticize yourself on this journey. It is easy to criticize, it is easy to feel bad, but it's okay. We are still Ravan in different versions. So we don't have to behave like we are Ram yet. Okay. So it is okay for the us with Rakshas mentality to sometimes be good, sometimes be bad, and accept that there is still a lot of God's hand in helping us getting transformed, to show that complete nature that we have, complete Rakshas Buddhi that we have within us. Unless we understand the true nature of that ego, to what extent the ego can go, we really will not be able to appreciate what all cages it has built. Right? And you have to get into Lanka to be able to see. You have to be able to go into that disguised as something to be able to see. So when Hanuman went into Lanka, he actually saw some of the most horrible things there. So we should be able to witness some of the horrible things within us, to be able to see that to be able to see that Sita where we have trapped. Unless we go to those depths in between, we should not feel bad. Oh, gee, I saw this, I saw this, I saw that, I experienced this, I experienced that. It was my own way of understanding. Maybe that is why all this is actually like this. So it was my way of convincing myself that it's okay to accept all this in this journey. It is okay. And I'm on my quest to find the Sitas and release all the Sitas and then make her meet Ram. It was a nice It was a nice expedition. It was a nice assignment. I felt that it was for myself. So I thought I'll just share this understanding with you so that even if you also resonate with this example or this analogy, you can also bring it as a part of your life, and it'll make you more motivated enough to release her every time a POSC tries to show you where she is. Because by the time we get to her, we'll see some of the worst things. She will keep trying to come out, but we would have seen some of the worst experiences in our life. And we just have to keep reminding ourselves we are going there, we are still trying to see her. Because sometimes you won't know what emotion you're trying to see. So just keep trying to see, am I seeing Sita? Am I able to see Sita? Am I able to see Sita? So how much ever you're able to see, maybe just her hand you'll be able to see, just her nose you'll be able to see, just her mouth. Whatever you're able to see, just release her, part of her. So like that only, we will also be 100% in, let's say, liberated. Okay. So this is my personal understanding of how we actually get liberated in installments. We don't have 100% liberation. Whatever you sit in meditation, you'll still have to go through this journey. You sit and do chanting, you'll still have to go through this journey. You have to hear it from your pose, and then you have to go find your Sita. There is no other way, especially if you're on this path where you're in the grihast setup with people around you and all that. We are not in a forest. We are not living alone. So that is a different kind of journey. That is a different way of finding Sita, because the demons, everything is inside you only at that time. But then here, everything is outside. Everything is being represented outside. Okay, any doubts here so far?
Yeah, Namaste ji.
Yeah,
Can I go
Anita.
ahead? Actually, you said like in
Who's speaking?
case of India,
Inia, tell me, Inia.
in
You
case of an
have,
abusive relationship.
can you switch on your video?
Yeah, actually, I'm on.
Or on? Okay, wait, let me remove it. Now you tell me.
You mentioned that in case of an abusive relationship, the soul wanted that particular abusive relationship, so it is going through. So, what is the learning and what is caged here?
See, it's like what emotions one feels. Let's say if there is disrespect coming from the other person, or when that person doesn't talk, or when they say, okay, I'm not going to share any financial stuff with you. You have to just be like my wife. Many of those kinds of things, when it happens, what feelings you are going through, that is Sita. But then the belief systems which say, my husband is my husband. We are 50-50 in our life. Rather we are partners in this relationship. He has to be very transparent with me. He should give me respect. I will give him respect. He should talk to me every day. So many of those kinds of things are called belief systems. So those belief systems have trapped that emotion, because the emotion is trying to come out. Why it is trying to come out? Because those belief systems, it is not meeting those belief systems, which is why there is sadness. See, that sadness was just supposed to be experienced as it is and just moved on. But then when that person, or when the soul first experienced it in the physical body, it felt very disturbed. Why is this sadness? Let's say it created a situation for itself. I want to experience this emotion. Let's say it first experienced the emotion. But then when you are not connected to that chain of command properly, you will not know why, how, what is this new feeling I'm not understanding. Karke. Then at that time, we will cook up some reasons. Maybe he didn't talk to me. That is why I have this feeling. Maybe he didn't give, he didn't, that reciprocation, there was there was something less in that. That's why this. So like that, lives and lives and lives, we sort of attach that if this feeling happens, then this must be the reason. So you take example, fear. Fear is one generic emotion. But in what all different types of belief systems fear can happen? No. Rather, what all reasons we can give for that fear, for me to experience fear? It can be plenty of reasons. I mean, the cooked up reasons that we have told why I'm experiencing fear can be many things. It can be in a child having academic issues. It can be in a police or a thief, or it can be in a thief with police. It can be in a wife in an abusive relationship. It can be so like that. Many different people can feel fear, but it could have happened due to many different reasons. So belief systems can be thousands, innumerable. But the one that is trapped is still the same emotion, which actually does not have any meaning to it. It is just a frequency of feeling. But because we don't understand it, we are trying. Ego wants to understand. What if ego doesn't want to understand? It is okay with not understanding. Then what will ego do? It will just experience it and it will move on. It will not attach to why did it happen? How did it happen? Next time I should not allow it to happen. All that will not come. That is mind working. When the mind is silent, it will experience everything and it will just move on. So we have all of these belief systems because we wanted to attach and understand why all this is happening to me. We came here for experience, but we forgot that we came here for experience. Then all these reasons happened. So here you have to see what is that feeling that you are trying to release. So then you focus on only that feeling. Forget about husband. Forget about he didn't do this, he did this, all that story you forget. Because that you can't fix. That is already inside you. It is all programmed. You can't change that. You can't suddenly say only if he gives respect, then only I feel good. That won't happen. But what I'm saying is focus on what is that feeling that is actually that you are feeling at that time. Maybe sense of abandonment, sense of isolation, sense of feeling helpless or left out, lack of love, whatever that we may not label it, but that feeling of discomfort you'll have. No, just close your eyes and then imagine that that is one person. And then you talk to that person. And then you send a lot of love to that person, that feeling person. If you give it one form, I'm just giving in your mind, you can give it one form or whatever. Just think that that is one form, that it has an identity. Then you think about that person and just say, I love you. I'm so grateful to you. Someday I wanted to experience you, but then I ended up trapping you. I'm so grateful that you gave me all these experiences and stayed with me for so long. But now I'm ready to release you. I'm so thankful for all the experiences that you gave me. That gave a lot of wisdom. I really enjoyed this journey because I wouldn't have even understood what it is until if you didn't stay with me, then I wouldn't have understood. So the more you do this, no, you forgot about your husband, you forgot that he has to be fixed and all those things. You just focused on that Sita that was inside you and you're communicating with her. She's that mother goddess that you're trying to release, all of that. Then that good feeling that you have towards her, all that will actually transform you. It's like you're bringing a part of the divine Sita into you now. Initially, it was the trapped Sita who was all crying and all of that. But now it's the divine Sita who has now come out and she'll become you. She'll be you. She'll be like a part of you from now on. A divine version of you. Now it's like she has now come into that Adi Shakti level. To that point, to that extent. How do we become that greatest version of our feminine version? In installments, we should become like this. You understood or did I confuse you?
Yeah, I understood, but I think it is so deep. And let me put inside, I'll work on this. And if I have
But
again,
sort of understood what I told you through a story, no? So focus
yeah,
on that.
yeah,
Because what I'm trying to tell is God is the masculine version. When he created his own creation, no, everything is feminine version. It's a feminine. It's called Purusha Prakriti. Everything is Prakriti. Even those emotions are Prakriti. So but in Prakriti, nothing is bad or good. But in our belief systems, that ego, no, it created some stories around why this is like this, why that is like this, all that. So that is Ravan. Ravan has all these belief systems and he has imprisoned many things inside his Lanka. Lowest version, lowest frequency. So what we are just trying to say is focus on releasing the Sita, because the Ravan inside us is trying to change. Ego, we don't want the ego to be Ravan, no, we want ego to go and then go back to Ram. So let us be that Ravan who's releasing the Sita. So don't again go trying to kill the person who's coming to you as a messenger. See, when when Hanuman came to him as a messenger and all of that, he tried to kill Hanuman. So let's not try to kill the messenger who's coming to show you where Sita is. He killed Jatayu also, right? Ravan killed Jatayu when he was trying to protect Sita and all of that. So anybody who comes against you, you will actually try to kill them first. Like you'll hurt them first with your words, with your behavior and all of that. That is what we are, even I have that nature. Okay, even I'm not, just because I'm telling all this doesn't mean that there is definitely a evil side of me also, still. So I'm still working on it. So that's what we all are. So we should not kill the messenger. We should at least try to look from this perspective. Even though reaction comes first, don't feel bad about it. At least after that, start to think and work on this in this way. Then at least then also progress will happen. The very first thing that comes out of you, let's say you see somebody and the very first thing is judgment. Don't judge yourself. See, the very first thing that came out of my mind is something bad only. Don't judge yourself like that. What is the second thing that came after that? That is what matters. That second thing, when you keep working on that second, when you make your let's say second, after that, yeah, in teaching, in classes, they told me these things. Okay, let me apply this concept. And then, yeah, okay, although I reacted, but still, I think she is also a POSC who's trying to show me these things. If you think about all of those things, at least after the reaction, then you're strengthening that portion of you. Tomorrow, one day, you'll realize that the very first reaction only is, hey, she's my POSC. It will change. But let us even go there slowly. Let us not judge ourselves. Okay. See, we are not going to become Ram overnight, but definitely we have to accept many versions of the Ravan inside us before we go to Ram. A burst Ravan to a bad Ravan to a, let's say, a little better Ravan, and then maybe some little bit of Ravan, then only we can go. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Manju.
Thank you.
Yes, Smita. Good
Hi.
morning. So,
I can't hear you. You went back on mute.
okay, it's audible now, Smita. So, my question is, I'll tell you with an example. So, if I'm seeing like somebody is mistreating their servant mates, okay? The first thought comes like, where do I have done the same thing? So, I'm witnessing this scene. And the second would be like emotion would be anger. So, it is my acceptance should come to the emotion, that anger which I'm coming with, or should I see that have I done this to anyone? So, I'm witnessing this scene in my lifetime now.
See, if sometimes if the emotion is so strong, we might go and correct them also, saying, why are you ill-treating this lady, kind of thing. If that is your level of consciousness, that if that is the right thing to do for you, you are probably doing that. But then if that is not the right thing, but you're only witnessing, our right is something else. No, somebody's right might be to go fight. Somebody's right might be to just stand there and then work on themselves. So depending on whatever is your right, you should work on it. Like if you are just a witness as of now, you should just look at them and then see, it brings judgment in me. I see this owner as a mean person. I'm judging them. And then it brings anger inside you. So watch that anger. Someday when this happened, someday when that kind of anger was probably experienced, you attached all these belief systems that maybe because she did all these things, that is why I have this anger. That is why this anger is coming inside me. So it's like this belief system and this emotion have sort of become more like a because, they have been attached with a because conjunction. So you just have to remove all of that because and just watch that emotion.
So I don't have to add any tag to that instance, say that I have done this to somebody, or
You can say anything, but how will you prove that it is right? It is
okay.
just a way for your ego to get convinced, that's all. But irrespective, if your ego doesn't want to get convinced, then again you're building all these stories, so which is more cages.
Okay.
But then we might build more cages before we break everything. We might. Can't say. It is okay. But at least if it's in the positive direction, it's okay. But over time, you may not be building like very thick cages and all of those things.
So from now on, I just have to see what emotion it brings into me whenever I see and triggers, right?
Yeah. That way you're only focusing on yourself and your progress and your growth. And you're not trying to see the person who's bringing you that message and then trying to judge and trying to kill them with your words or with your mind or anything. Your character assault of somebody is also a character assault of yourself. Because we are again building cages inside us, no? So we are again attacking ourselves.
Okay. And thank you for the beautiful analogy on the Sundarkandam. I will never see Sita and Rama anymore same. Thank you so much, Smita, for that.
Yeah, Nageshwari? You are on mute.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I wanted to say the same as Manjaka told. It is wonderful and lucky to share the way you shared Sundaragandam. To be very frank, tears came out of my eyes. Like I was like into it. I don't know how to explain, but it was really wonderful. Thank you so much. I feel like blessed to be in this session. To be very frank, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
The question I have is like, ma'am, whatever you teach us, I'm able to apply it with when it comes with my husband or my parents or the third person. But when it comes with my kids, when it comes to parenting, no, I'm not able to fully follow or I'm not able to accept it. Maybe I'll give you one view of mine. Like, for example, my kids are doing something which they are not supposed to do. Just disobeying or disrespecting elders or eating unhealthy foods or something like that. The moment I see that, the emotion that comes to me is anger. So sometimes I try to work on my emotion, like I leave them, like let them eat whatever they want. And if their karma or soul plan is to get some disease, let them go through it and let me focus on my anger. And I'm doing sometimes working on my anger. I say like anger is within me, let me release it kind of statements I do it. But sometimes I get angry and react on them, and then I think, like as you told, I will say like, okay, it's okay, God wants to experience this, that's why I reacted, let me accept it. So again and again, this both one time I'm responding, one time I'm reacting, this is repeatedly coming up as a loop. I'm not moving above these.
How do you know what is the end of this? We don't know how deep we are in this attachment. See, I am also having a child, right? Even my what do you say, deepest learnings are with my child only. With my husband, there is some, but we overcome it, I think, to some extent. But with my child, it is very strong, very strong. And the more I try to work on this, the more she brings me even more intense experiences. See, why we think that why do we have all these experiences? Because the child has to show us how many things we have, how many belief systems we have trapped with respect to protecting our child. Like the motherly instinct, a motherly instincts are there even in animals. When we were animals, since then we have been having motherly instincts. And these motherly instincts of protection. sense of protection in different mothers is different. How we try to protect our child through our ego is very unique to each of us. And it can come through various different scenarios. And for me, I have gone through a journey. For example, even in her case, she had a health issue. For me, let's say in my journey, this was the pattern that came to me. So she had her health issue. Then in the process of working on her health issue, my children were made vegan. And then we were going through this issue. Then she listened to all of whatever I had to say. But there came a stage where they did not listen. Now, what happens? You have a belief system that if you go only on this path, they will be healthy. Why? Because if they are healthy, then I will be happy. My ego had built this cage. Only if they follow these things, then I will get happiness from them. So it's a belief system. What I wanted from them was happiness. But I think that if they are healthy, I'll get happiness. It is my own interpretation of that. So then when they did not, because my journey was like that, then they did not listen. They went and then kept eating whatever they want and all of that. So I had no control. So then spirituality had already come into my life. So that's when all that I had to think was, hey, it's my reflection. I'm seeing my own reflection. So if I work on myself, then I am going to be able to see a parallel version of my own daughter, where she may not be doing this. So I am seeing her because I am in this level. I am in a certain, so which means I want this experience. That is why I have come to this place. I've come to this parallel reality because there is something in it for me, which is why my soul has brought me here. My soul, or let's say my soul, has brought this body to this point and giving me this POSC because I need to find my Sita here. So first you need to accept that you're here for the right reasons. Correct? That much we have to accept. But then that hate will go, everything will go, why am I here? Why my daughter is doing like this? All the drama will go out of your head. Oh, I'm here. I need to be watchful. What should I do? What should I do? At least that vigilance will come inside your head. Then at that time, see what you have to do to yourself to be able to accept the situation. For me, I'll give you an example. There was a point where she was ODing on Jaggery, literally overdosing on Jaggery. Why? At that time, I had a belief system that if they have an overdose, she will have cold. So many other attachments were there. So every time she had a cold, I would connect it to some sugar or Jaggery. Sugar we never used to have, Jaggery. So then I used to avoid her having Jaggery, and the more I avoid, she used to have Jaggery. But at some point, there was something that I had to draw and say, fine, I need to work on this. And then I actually gave up on protecting her from Jaggery. When she came to the kitchen, I would say, Jaggery, take. So over time, what happened? She sort of lost interest in. It was nice to be stealing Jaggery and eating. And she would eat Jaggery and sleep in the night, and so many things she has done. Then one day what happened? There was a school dental checkup and she had 5 cavities. Then the doctor said, you are eating too many sweets. For her, that felt like Jaggery. And then she said, I'm not going to eat Jaggery from now on so much. She eats now also, but doesn't eat Jaggery like that. She eats probably chickpeas or something like that. So it was her. See, the more you surrender about allowing and believing that something is happening for the right reason, but there is something that I'm not seeing within myself. I'm just trying to control the external situation because it is trying to hurt me. When you give up on trying to control the external situation, but then you switch the spotlight to yourself and how better I'm doing, how much I'm able to look at myself when this situation happens, that kind of thing, when you're actually working on yourself, then that will automatically take care of itself. So she had that cavity. All that they did was some patch-up work on that cavity. And still till now, it's all going on. It took time. It took maybe even more than 6 months to 1 year for me to get to that state. Like that, there are so many things. She is one of the biggest POSCs in my life. And then when COVID hit, she totally lost track of studies. Totally. It was like I gave a treasure to her called YouTube, and that's it. It went fully like that. And then she lost her friends because she was not going to school. And then she was more a very social person. So because of lack of social living, no friends and no school, and for 2 years, she lost completely her track of study. She didn't want to study. And then for 1 year, she has not done homework. School also gave up. So to that extent it was. And then the only thing I see, how much can you tell a person? All that they would do at that time, it was pretty beginning of teenage. So she would go close the door, she would shout. What all you can tell such children? All that you can do is work on yourself. So meditations I did, those seva, this, that, whatever. Because the focus was only, okay, I am in this version, I am in this frequency. So I need to go to a higher frequency, then I will get a better experience. It was more about that. And then the more I worked on myself, it actually started becoming better. So it is always about you. So if you are experiencing something, it is because you are in that level. You are supposed to learn something from that.
So if I understand correctly, whatever my kids are doing, for example, if they're eating junk or something, even though I don't eat also, I should think where all I can improve. It's
You
not
can,
about that
if you want
action.
to, see, you can tell
The
them.
overall,
I'm not saying don't tell them. You can tell them, don't eat this, but then don't tell from a fear-based thing. Tell it more from, this is the right thing to do kind of thing. From your perspective. But then again, don't have expectations that they will understand you or they will follow you. Just tell.
but
over time you may not tell.
doing that, there is a fear of their future, right? I agree. Like I can
What
tell
can you
them.
do about it? Do you think you have that in your control? That is not in your control. It's all coming as a part of their soul experience, your soul experience also. None of these things are in your control. You are here only as to search whatever is inside you.
Yes.
It is going to take time, especially some of these deeper relationships. No, it is going to take time. It is not easy.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll work on this.
Yeah.
I'll work on myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Anita?
Hi, Smita. Again, thank you so much for the very nice session today. Thank you so much. I don't know what else to say. I'll come to my doubt. Actually, nowadays I'm slowly I'm improving on seeing the emotion as it comes up, especially strong emotions like anger or sadness. I'm able to immediately see that the anger is there. So it is I am the seeing me is also there, the anger is also there. Like the awareness and the anger is at the same time. So what happens? I will be actually starting to react, but as the awareness has come, I will slowly, I will go down and respond. State also will slowly come up. So in between this, there is some slowness or some inaction. So today morning, what happened when one of the office people called me and there was some mistake in the office that has reflected very badly in the customer side and all. So I started to first shout and then immediately I saw that why am I getting so angry? It's actually a very small mistake, but customer side it has shown, so it has now seen like a big mistake. So I could immediately sense that the person to whom I'm talking is also having some pressure issue and all. So it's not good for me to talk to him like that. And I also will have a very small role in this. I should have taken some other step to see that this problem would have come. So all this have come, Smita. So what happened? There is one small gap of that inaction. Is that okay? Because the other person, will take that space and will start to give different kind of explanations and
because you're insecure about that gap. You have to accept that gap, no? It's okay. See, here there is only you playing out. Everything else that is around you that is playing out, it's more about your belief systems that are showing up in different random ways, dynamically. If somebody is doubtful about you, it is because you have your own doubts that they are expressing. So it is actually you playing out. It's like this projector from your head is actually playing out everywhere. Nothing is happening without your, if something is, if let's say customer, if you're not thinking about the customer, there's nothing happening in the customer's level. Only if you are giving focus, only that is actually happening. We think that something else is also parallelly happening, but nothing is parallelly happening.
In this case, it actually happened. There was mails from customer also. That's why this came to
anyway,
me.
no more than no. Maybe I'm not telling it properly. But what I'm just saying is, just focus on you. Everything that is happening is meant to happen.
Okay, that is okay, Smita. So now, when coming to me, this shift from reaction to response, that gap is okay.
It's okay because it is still taking time. You can't. It's still not strong enough for response to actually be predominant.
Okay.
It is still not 100% awareness. It is still not 100% acceptance. You're still in the transition phase.
Okay. So in this anger,
it's okay, let somebody think whatever. What if they think? You will not become that, no?
Yes. Yeah, that was my next question.
Yeah.
Like
my manager is not very reactive. She's very slow. Whatever, let them think. Their thinking really will not matter. If it really shows up as matter, it's because you think it will matter. Only your belief systems are going to play out in front of you. If something is playing out and taken you by surprise, it is because you did not know that you had it.
And for response, we actually need time, no, Smita, to think, to contemplate what is the right thing, what is the right
Think like this. Let's say you're learning to drive a car. How conscious you'll be when you're giving that first road test.
Yes.
You'll be very conscious. You'll be thinking, oh, first gear, second gear, what did I tell? Is this hump, first gear, second gear? But then even after that also, you'll still be thinking on the road. Over a period of time, like you'll be rehearsing, okay, now I'm going slowly. Now I have to be it's going to be second gear. I'm going, hump is coming, second gear. Now I've crossed the hump now, okay, and I'm going to third gear. Okay, so I have got enough space on the road, so I can go to fourth gear. You are actually thinking. But then over a period of time, you are not even thinking, you're also talking on the phone. You are capable of talking on the phone and also drive the car at the same time. So that then you are not actually thinking. So it becomes a second nature. So until mind delegates the whole programming to the body, you will still be mind-body.
Processing. Okay.
Yeah. As long as mind-body is there, it is still not 100% programming. It has to become second nature, means your mind is not involved. Like when you're brushing your teeth, your mind is not involved. Like that.
Okay.
But when a new person is cooking, their mind is involved. Yes. Which recipe, how much salt. But as a person who's always cooking and you have become an expert, your mind is not involved. You know, like automatically salt has to go, tamarind has to go, this has to go, that has to go. How much has to go also, you know. So everything has that sense of becoming a habit. It has to become a habit. And until it becomes a habit, it's still mind-body coordination only. And that is going to take time. Because if I'm going to that steppers class in gym, I'm still thinking which is my left and which is my right. Because in that kind of a sequence, I have never thought about left and right in that fast pace. Okay, when I'm driving, I'm not really thinking that fast. No, I'm still, left and right is not that fast. But in that dance kind of move, suddenly left to right, left, I have to really think, because even from, maybe it has come for me to improve my left-right sense. But I'm not still able to progress fully. But I'm just telling myself, oh, it is meant to be like that. Maybe I'll take 6 months, who knows. But yeah, it is mind-body coordination, takes time. That teacher was saying, madam, you're thinking, that is why you're slow. How is it that everybody is able to be so fast? I'm actually slow. It is because I'm thinking and doing. Obviously, it will take time. There will come a point where you will not think, you will just do. That is what is that. That is what I was telling as knowing. We just know.
Okay. Okay.
There is no thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions? I don't know
Smita,
if Burela is there.
can I ask a second question?
Yeah, sure. Huh.
Okay.
Rupala, you also had some questions that you had asked me on the last class, right? Do you want to ask some of those questions?
You have addressed most of it actually.
I've addressed, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I think you may have, I think if you apply the same logic to all of your questions, I think you may have got the answers, no?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's nice. Yeah. What was your other question, Anita?
Yeah, Smita. Actually, upon listening to the lessons, the divine design again and again, I'm able to see that, like even today, today's session, when you started with how God has manifested in so many different sparks and so many different individuals. So like that, me or each one of us have also different roles, like mother and child and sister and so many things. But still, in all this, as an office person or a person who's sad, person who's happy, in all this, the common thing is the I-ness. I am mother. I am a sister. So that I-ness is there. So when I see that, so each one of us are also having that I-ness. So each one of us, so that is like very, very, when we think itself, it is very clear. There is nothing like we need to go and find. So I is there everywhere. So that I-ness is with me, I-ness is with each one of the sparks, all of us. So that itself is showing that so all are one. Like we all have come from a single source, so that all are having the same characteristic.
Yeah.
That I-ness is
it's like a template. That template is actually there everywhere.
Yeah. And each one have their own design, their own roles and different things.
Yes, with the same role, with all your roles, God must be your goal. Oneness is your goal.
So now here, what I want to ask is, this is the mind's understanding. It is, but whereas I feel something is different, that is much more deeper. But mind is, it's very easy to work with mind and to understand. It's like calculation. 2 + 2 is 4. So clear it is. So like this only, I'm able to see that I-ness in all of us, and then able to see that all are one, or all are have descended from a single source. So only we all have this commonness. My question is how to move from this thinking part to the feeling, or to that knowing part.
For that, you have to become light. You have to release many Sitas. Because you don't know which Sita is ready to be released at what time. That universe knows, that God knows, that your soul knows. It is also taking you to that point only. We can't be in rush to go to that point. How can it become a feeling? You know that it is maybe at some point in my life, I will go to that point. But it is also having a plan for you to be taken to that point. For that, you have to go station after station to that point, no? So that station is currently in this now moment. What is POSC telling you and showing you?
Yes. So each POSC, each experience, I'm going to see, and I'm going to be with, like, very beautifully you said, to consider that emotion as a person and talk to it and say to release. That was like, it really will. I want to try that, for my few of the emotions.
It works for anything, even fear, pain.
Yes, that's a very nice.
Like in another analogy which I had shared in the past, it is more think like you are the creator. You created all these things inside you, right? All these emotions are your creations. So it is like your child. A child who has, whenever it is trying to say, Amma, you're sending it back inside. You're suppressing it, let's say, with a distraction. You want, let's say, oh, I'm feeling like I'm feeling lonely, or I'm feeling bored. Let me go watch TV. So instead of addressing that boredom, right, we'll go and watch TV. So what are we doing? We are just trying to say, okay, take this Cartoon Network and go play. So and the child also forgets. But again, it'll come say, Amma, then, so when you sit and say, okay, what is it that you want? then
So when I
you are
address each
addressing
and
the
every,
needs of the child, right? So then it will not have that kind of amma again over a period. It will become independent.
yes. So when I address each and every POSC, each and
Yes.
every emotion and experience,
Yes.
I'm going to dissolve that. Will
Yes.
that lead me towards this feeling I-ness?
Yes. Yes, it will. Which is what I don't know whether I told it in a chat or whatever. It is like you are one single unit. In that one single unit, whichever area POSC comes, if you go light, let's say you're releasing the limited cages, the belief systems you're releasing. You're releasing means you're melting the belief systems, and then the fear or whatever was there, it is getting integrated with your divine self. It is actually not releasing. It is still there. For example, if I've overcome
Totally
fear,
accepting it and
I've
becoming.
overcome fear means fear is still there inside me, but fear is not bothering me, not scaring me, not making me uncomfortable.
Okay.
It is like that. So
Yeah.
whatever was making me uncomfortable in the presence of fear were those belief systems which I'm dropping on the way. Because POSC showed me, when I focus on the emotion, the cages automatically get dropped. Imagine like you have imprisoned somebody. Now you remove the prisoner. What is the reason for that cage anymore? There is no reason for the cage. The cage will get dissolved.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? When you make the prisoner so strong that the prisoner himself comes out of the prison because he's now a strong person, then the cage will need to be dissolved. So it is more like that. So God is doing that. He's dissolving when you surrender and all, he is dissolving. But you have to put energy into that prisoner. When you focus on her, she is getting the energy to come out by herself.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it is more like that, right? So the more you keep releasing, irrespective of whichever area you're releasing, all your areas will actually see improvement. For me, the more I was releasing on different other areas also, food also has changed in my level, in my area, in my life. For me, what food used to cause me a lot of eliminations in the past, but the same foods, in fact, I should not even say same foods. In fact, foods that I even avoided in the past I've started consuming plant-based foods only. Let's say some fried bhajis or something that my mother-in-law made. I would never touch it in the past. But I'm touching it, I'm eating it, and my body is perfectly okay. Why? Because I just dropped the belief systems. At some point, maybe I've not consciously worked on all of these things every single day, but I may have worked on something consciously that my daughter was doing with me, or I was working about my husband.
Yeah.
Right? I worked on different areas, but other areas also saw progress.
Yeah. I got it. It's very nice, very beautiful.
Yeah, it is the overall package. How light you are at a holistic level. So how, where, what will change, you don't know. How, what that integrated summation of that entire thing, you don't know. Cumulative thing, how it will actually show up, you don't know that experience. But you should actually focus on the assignment that is given to you. Go fetch that Sita. Oh, sorry, go to that Sita. If the POSC tells you, go to that Sita only. Don't worry about some other Sita. Yeah.
Thank you, Smita. Thank you.
It really works. Okay. For me also, it's magical. And and you continue chanting and all of those things in addition, it is like a power booster, I should tell you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the chanting because after joining the class only, I've started to do that. And it's really like somebody is coming along with me. It's like that. When I say
So
Namah Shivaya,
chanting, I
Shiva
think
is there.
talk about it in the next class, but yeah, actually what is happening, in between, if I'm getting some analogies like this or something, I'm just thinking if I should make short videos and also send it off even when people are not there also, because by the time the next class comes, that loses its gravity, that loses that fire. So I'll have to think about it, time also. Yeah, I'll have to think about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Smita.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay, if there are no other questions, we can maybe end the class. Okay. To the Supreme God, we thank you for your divine blessings, to my spiritual teacher, to all the spiritual teachers, holy masters, all the saints, holy angels, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones. We thank you for your great blessings. Thank you. Bye.